Hello and welcome to the Race All-Star series powered by Rocket Phones. This series brings together some of the greatest professional racing drivers in the world, some of the fastest sim drivers on the planet, and some real legends of motorsport to go head-to-head in the simulated world. Drivers including Jenson Button, Dario Franchitti, Antonio Liuzzi, Juan Pablo Montoya are all going to go head-to-head in classic 70s Formula 1 cars. We've drivers from Formula 1, the World Endurance Championship, Formula E and IndyCar going head-to-head in the Pro Cup. And that's also going to see manufacturers facing each other as Mercedes, BMW, Bentley all go head-to-head. And then we have the very fastest drivers from the world of sim racing competing in our Sim Masters tournament. These stars of the track will face two races, the second of which is a reverse grid race. We're at the second round of a 5-week championship where the action takes place on the Portugal GP circuit. But first, our attention turns to the Pro Cup. Currently, Mercedes-AMG Petronas esports lead the Pro Cup championship, but it's Bentley Motorsport driver Alex Buncombe leading the way in the Drivers' Championship. A huge grid of pro drivers took to the start of the race, and it was Tom Dillman that began on pole position. Before the race, we caught up with our championship leader for Bentley, Alex Buncombe. Great to have you with us, Al. How's it going? It felt like your first sort of R-Factor 2 experience last week, and you were straight out there at the front.
It certainly was, mate. Yeah, it was my first time on the sim, and I got to be honest, I was totally shocked to get pole position. In practice, I was like P15, P16. I thought if I can be mid sort of field, I'd be happy, and got to quali and stuck it up there. And a really great race, first time for Bentley as well. So to come away from the first round, leading the championship, for myself can't be bad. So on to Portugal now. It's going to be a tough race, but we'll see how we go.
Great, best of luck, Alex. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Here comes the start of the race, the first of two for the Pro Cup racers, and away they go. It's a very good start from Bradley Smith. He gets ahead of Tom Dillman into turn one. Smith in the red car has the inside line. We're on board with Gabby Chavez further back, so keep an eye out on that if you want to see the carnage. But it is Smith who is in first place, Dillman second. Agustin Canapino, the Argentinian, has managed to get him into third position in the early stages, and Dillman goes very defensive into turn two. All this is allowing Bradley Smith in the bottom left to pull away quite a decent lead as they come out onto the back straight for the first time.
Dreamy start from Smith. Got the perfect level of traction versus wheel spin. Just managed to get the rear tyres gripping, and just probably less revs than Dillman, and jumped into the lead fairly unopposed there. Just did it nicely on the inside down to turn one. Dillman's done well to hang on there because Canapino is really close as well. But look at that, already 6.5 tenths for Smith. And this is Hyundai's first race in it as well. New driver, and they're out front.
Very strong performance then. Tom Dillman in second place as they come into the right-hander of turns 10, then through 11, and the double back at 12, and then the final Parabolica corner, and out onto the start-finish straight again to complete lap one. We were just on board with Bruno Spengler, who's in 20th place at the moment, but it's Bradley Smith leading the way. Gutierrez crucially dropped a few places. You can see Smith trying to lose the slipstream from Tom Dillman, and Dillman, he closed in quite a lot using the slipstream, and that's before DRS has been activated. We've still got a couple of laps before DRS is activated, but even without that, the slipstream looks strong.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if we had a spinner in the background there at turn one, but everyone seems to be continuing in the top 10, so it must have been my eyes deceiving me. But yeah, the slipstream seems strong. That's going to be a problem for Bradley Smith if Dillman can stay within a second, because when DRS is open, he's going to be really coming under a lot of pressure down turn one. That straight is long. And this one's quite long as well. Canapino not quite close enough to Dillman. But that's going to be another one. They're all going to concertina up behind Smith, who is not getting away.
Here's a replay on board down into the first corner. I think this is with Norman Nato. Whoa! That's two places, thank you very much. Nicely done.
Screamer of a move. look, I never thought he was going to stop that, going in that much later on the brakes than the two ahead. But great move from Nato.
Here comes Tom Dillman across the line down towards turn 1, and Bradley Smith is having to cover the inside line. Dillman in the yellow car to the outside. The Frenchman tries to send it all the way around the outside. Smith holds it in on the inside in the red car, but he can't get it done down into turn 2. So Tom Dillman back into the lead where he started on pole position. Agustin Canapino thinking about a fight behind, but no move to be made there. We're on board with Canapino as he comes up into the left-hander.
Dillman's gone wide. Dillman went really wide at the apex there. That's, or maybe it's actually gave him a straighter exit potentially. He might have done it on purpose because he's just gapped Bradley Smith, and now Canapino close down towards turn 6. Bumpy braking zones at this circuit, particularly down at turn 1. You see a lot of front lockups, but again there from Bradley Smith ahead, just a bit of a front lockup. It's quite a bumpy track. It's quite undulating. It looks great when we get the off-board shots. I think it looks fantastic circuit, but yeah, bumpy makes it so much trickier. Smith slightly wide of the apex there as well, and Canapino is going to be reeling him in. Look how close he is there.
Final corner now, you can see the understeer that Canapino's getting in the dirty air as he has to turn the wheel full right, but now's going to be the opportunity down into turn 1. Tom Dillman has got a 0.6 of a second advantage. Canapino closing. Does he fancy it into the first corner? Pulls out. Not quite enough. The Williams esports driver who's been sim racing for a lot of years, as well as racing in the South American S2000 Championship from, you may remember, 5 or 6 years ago, I want to say Canapino was racing in that. So a very experienced real racer in what it was a really cool championship down there in South America. But that's by the by. I don't need to get bogged down in Argentinian touring cars. But Dillman out in front. Philip Eng is trying to make a move as we go on board. Oh, this is going to be an interesting one, isn't it? 3 wide down into the first corner.
Very fair racing. Philip Eng in the middle, but he got jumped by, was that Tristan Vautier coming past both of them, or just defending very hard? I'm not sure, but somehow they all managed to survive. I think Kevin Hansen was the driver now slipping out of the top 10 just behind, who got passed there by Philip Eng, but super close racing all the way down. Just Tom Dillman out front, just about managing to get away. Here we go. Eng now to the outside of Vautier, who knows he's there and just covers the inside. Still Vautier covering the inside then. Oh, Eng super close to the back of the Frenchman. Now through the twistier section. You wouldn't have thought he'd be able to make a pass here, Philip Eng. He's quick, right on the back of Vautier. Now he just needs to keep really, really close, because Vautier is just over a second away from Norman Nato ahead and won't get DRS. Gutierrez in set is looking for a move on Nicky Team. Big lockup as well from Smith, who's been passed by Canapino. So Canapino up to second, Smith third, and Gutierrez has passed Team for fourth as well. It's all action.
Very, very busy then all the way through the order as they come into turn 1 again. Still, though, Tom Dillman is well clear of all of the chaos as we go on board with Esteban Gutierrez up in the top right, who's in that 4th place ahead of Nicky Team. Can he now try and close in on Bradley Smith?
Philip Eng that was, who was spun round at turn 1, so shame for him in that fight. I think that was with Kevin Hansen as well. But yeah, here we go then. At the front, it's getting very close. And now Nicky Team still with Gutierrez. Smith still with Canapino. No one's getting away, apart from Tom Dillman, who's doing a very, very good job out front. Yeah, this is going to be... oh, I think Eng was wheel spinning, actually. And then, basically, in trying to correct it, came back along the inside and hit Hansen. So I think it was actually Eng losing it on his own, really. A little bit like Nicky Team's just done there, running wide, washing in the dirty air of Gutierrez. And now look, Gutierrez is up the road and all over the back of Bradley Smith, and he's got no pressure from behind, which will be a nice bit of respite to try and take away that 3rd place from Smith.
Down towards the right-hander of turn 1. Smith moves over, covers the inside. Gutierrez to the outside in the silver Mercedes. Big lockup from Smith. And he holds on to the place for the time being, but Nicky Team right in behind. We're on board with Team now. In the Aston Martin, Gutierrez goes wide. That's Team's opportunity. Surely he can get this move done and up into 4th place.
Gutierrez has the inside, though. Lock up again ahead from Smith, who's probably on flat-spotted tyres by now. Gutierrez somehow holds on. He was lucky that the next corner was a left-hander, because that mistake gave team the inside for turn 3, but then the outside for 4, and again the outside for 6 as Gutierrez defends. But one little mistake, just dropping a wheel off, and it drags the whole car onto the grass. Same as team did on the last lap. Gutierrez has returned the favour, and now Nicky Team all over the back of the Mexican, who's now having to absorb the pressure for himself here.
You're seeing Nicky Team in the top right, Gutierrez running in 4th, Team in 5th as we look back from the Mercedes driver.
Gutierrez past Smith then. Nice move up the inside, late on the brakes, and got the job done really well there. Gutierrez, Smith's struggling. I think he's losing the tyres now. Scrabbling at the rear, locking a lot at the front, and now he's got Nicky Team, who we go on board with. The Aston Martin driver, he's going to have a nice run now. Bradley Smith's turning into more and more of a sitting duck as this race goes on. And I wonder if Tom Dillman might be struggling with the same thing. Maybe he's used too much of the tyres too early, because Canapino is getting a little bit closer for the race lead. Team not able to get through on Smith that time at turn 6.
Get back up front. This is looking back. Canapino all over him, but is only going to have one corner left as they head on to the final straight. As I say, DRS might give a chance, but he's going to need a heck of a run. And if not, it's going to be Dillman delivering on race number 1, and it looks like he's got just enough of a gap.
Across the line to take the win, just 2/10 ahead of Agustin Canapino. Esteban Gutierrez in 3rd. Smith will finish in 4th. And that is good news for Gutierrez. In fact, I think that moves Gutierrez to the top of the championship standings. Lights to flag victory then for Tom Dillman, but Esteban Gutierrez finishing 3rd is big news for his championship challenge and moves him to the top of the standings. When we come back, it's the first race for our Sim Masters. We'll see you then. Welcome back to the Race All-Stars series powered by Rocket Phones, where it's time for our first race in the Sim Masters. Now, Jurnej Simoncic is leading the championship at the moment for the fastest gamers on the planet, but he's not on pole position. He's 3rd on the grid. Pole is Nikodem Wisniewski for Williams Esports. Let's see what happens. And we're underway. Very good start from Simoncic from 3rd on the grid. He might get ahead of Alex Siebel here and up into 2nd place, and he does. Does he fancy a challenge on Wisniewski into turn 1? He does not. On board with Alex Siebel, who gets pushed out a little bit wide. Compared to Berliak, find the inside line? No. So the top 4 all line astern through turns 1 and 2. But Simoncic is up into 2nd place, the championship leader.
Yeah, that's an important move there from Simoncic. Much like Bradley Smith in the last race, just got really good drive and left Siebel just slightly wheel spinning on the way down to turn 1. Then managed to pick a slipstream from Wisniewski and straight through. Now, Simoncic, this is going to be interesting because he won last week, not from pole. Yayovski had the lead, but Simoncic just saved the tyres, bided his time, and managed to pass Yayovski. Now, I think we might see something similar to Simoncic trying to pass Wisniewski now. He's crucially got into 2nd. He needs to shake off Siebel, who's still with him here. But if he can, then we've got a race on, even though Wisniewski right now has opened up a 1.2 second lead already.
Yeah, this is a huge opening lap from Wisniewski. This is Sebastian Vettel-esque, isn't it? As he pulls away to 1.5 seconds at the end of lap 1. We're on board with Michi Hoyer now in 14th position, right in the slipstream of the 13th place driver, which is Manuel Biancalila, who he's trying to pass. The Italian looks to the outside. Can he get that job done? Oh, they're all late on the brakes. Michi Hoyer is Simoncic's teammate, and he's managed to gain that place. Someone's off on the inside. They didn't quite see who that was, but a big hit, and Michi Hoyer is up into 11th now as he makes his way past another driver. There you see him in the bottom left, or is he? He's still in 12th, I think.
Yeah, he's going side by side with Jordan, that is, up, down at turn 5. They're still side by side, have been for a number of corners. This is for 11th place. Rudy Van Buren a second up the road, and a big spin there. Is that Yuri Kazdorp dropping down? I think it is.
Yep. So that means Rudy Van Buren is promoted up into 9th place. Brendan Lee in 7th place is just ahead of Dennis Lind. We're seeing Risto Capit up in the top right as we go back on board with Michi Hoyer, who's still in 11th place ahead of Manuel Biancalila. Coming through the final couple of corners now into the left-hander of turn 12, and then out through the final Parabolica corner at 13 to start lap 3 of 10. So DRS will be available from now onwards as they come across the line. And we're on board with Bono Huis running in 5th place, trying to make a move on Peter Berliak. Berliak covers the inside line. Huis sends it to the outside, but he won't be able to get all the way around the outside there, the Dutchman. And that could put him under a bit of pressure from Risto Capit behind.
Yeah, that's a tricky move there. Dillman managed to pull it off on Bradley Smith in the Pro Drivers race earlier, but he was actually a reasonable amount ahead before the braking zone. It's a very difficult move to try and outbrake someone and then go around the outside at turn 1, because you're probably just going to end up getting forced wide on the exit. So Bono Huis thought better of that one in the end.
Lap 5 of 10. On board in the top right with Liam de Waal, who's seeing a lot of action in front of him and is about to gain at least 1 place here, maybe 2, as he comes into the right-hander at turn 3, gets the cut back. It's going to be tough to pull this one off, but can't quite get the job done there, Liam. Back on board with Bono Huis in the main picture.
Yeah, look, it's just a line of cars behind Simoncic. That's Wisniewski into the turn 7 there. Then Simoncic with Siebel now right behind him. Then Peter Berliak, and then Bono Huis. Bono Huis not really under pressure from behind. Kazdorp now, remember Kazdorp spun out of the top 10 earlier, so he's on a bit of a recovery charge now, trying to save something, with Kevin Siggy just behind. Siggy's been rapid at times, but he's now on the edge of the top 20, and Erhan Yayovsky's not even in the top 20. That's how competitive this series is, particularly for these sim racers. These are championship winners and challengers struggling to make the top 20 right now.
Oh, it's so leery down into turn 1, isn't it? We're on lap 6 of 10. Simoncic in 2nd place, Siebel in 3rd, Berliak 4th, Huis in 5th, and Huis makes the mistake. Risto Capit sees the inside, and he gets up and past Bono Huis. Does he? No, Huis is still there in the silver Mercedes, coming into the left-hander now of turn 4 and out onto the back straight. I thought that Capit would be able to make that move, but Huis just holds on in 5th position.
Yeah, it was the classic mistake, just drop a wheel wide at turn 2 and it just drags you off onto the grass, you lose all drive. But look, Huis is kind of already onto the back of Berliak again. Simoncic is really blocking all these guys, but they can't seem to pass him or even really have a run at him. He's quick in the right places, but he's not quick overall, and he's just basically holding a queue. And now Risto Capit is catching Bono Huis, went side by side. Brendan Lee is now getting into the mix as well, catching them all. And Wisniewski still with that 1.8 second lead. So Simoncic has at least closed or stabilised the gap. Now it'll be interesting to see if he has just been saving those tyres and if he can close it in the last sort of 3 laps.
Now Wisniewski's lead has come down a little bit. It's 1.3 seconds now, 1.3, 1.5 to Simoncic. And there goes Yunus Raivio up the inside of Daniele Haddad. Big sideways moment, and he makes the move stick. Does Haddad lose another place? Yes, he does. Tries to hang it on around the outside of 3. Can't quite do it. So nicely done from Yunus Raivio, and that gives Mike Epps a place as well. Danny Haddad down to 26th position. So a week ago, Simoncic played the long game and hauled his way into the race win. Is he doing the same here in Portugal? Lap 8 of 10, Wisniewski leading, but only 1.2 seconds now ahead of Simoncic in 2nd place. Siebel, Berliak, Huis, Capit coming with them.
Now look at the gap, 1 second. So he's only actually taken 2 tenths out of Wisniewski. And with 2 laps to go, that's not enough. Move coming here, though, for Huis.
To the outside, then he'll try and get the cut back on Berliak, who looks a little bit loose coming out of 1. Not quite close enough coming into 2, though. He's still settling there in that 5th position.
Here we go on board. Simoncic, half a second away from Wisniewski, but let's see what the DRS can do for him as he opens it down towards turn 1. Good overtaking chance if he can get there.
He's closing, he's closing, he's closing. Final lap of the race. Simoncic sends it into the right-hander, but Wisniewski just about gets late on the brakes and holds on to the lead of the race. But there's 0.3 of a second between them in the Sim Masters on the final lap around Portugal. Where is Simoncic's next opportunity going to be as he gets all loose at the rear? Great fight on the final lap.
Yeah, too loose, though, I think, for Simoncic through turn 3. He's clearly fighting with his own tyres now, really loose on the exit of 4 as well, and that's just allowed Wisniewski a tiny bit of breathing space. They're all struggling with those rear tyres particularly. There's not a huge amount of overtaking opportunity left, but it's so close.
It's like he's struggling to just keep the car on the road at the moment. Running in 2nd place. There's the look back from Wisniewski, the race leader. Jurnej Simoncic chasing him down, and it's Simoncic we can see in the bottom left. Final couple of corners now, climbing up the hill. The lovely Portuguese countryside on the right-hand side. A half hour or so outside of Lisbon. But it's Nikodem Wisniewski who comes through the final corner, and he is just going to hold on to win the Sim Masters race at the Race All-Star Series. Wisniewski wins for Williams Esports. Second across the line for Jurnej Simoncic by just 0.3 of a second. And then it is Siebel who comes across the line in 3rd place. What a great fight that was.
And this is as close as it got then. Oh, it just begs a lunge, doesn't it? Down at turn 1, the final lap. And he was there. Just didn't dare dive in too late on the brakes and risk a crash. Fair play. Still for his championship, Simoncic, that's a great result. We've got to remember that. But, well, good race, good race. Bit of cat and mouse, good strategy. But ultimately, Wisniewski maybe had the right one.
Nikodem Wisniewski takes the win in the Sim Masters, just ahead of Jurnej Simoncic in 2nd place, Alex Siebel in 3rd, Peter Berliak 4th, Bono Huis, 2nd place man in the championship, could only manage 5th. It looked certain that he was going to get ahead of Peter Berliak at some point throughout the race, but it didn't quite work out. Brendan Lee in 7th place, Rudy von Buren in 8th. Dennis Lind, the real-life racer, comes home in 9th position after a very strong race, and Dennis Jordan completing the top 10. Jurnej, you did try to pull the same trick as last week and steal it right at the end. Didn't quite work out today.
Yeah, I missed like maybe 1 meter of car length more to forward to be able to outbrake Nikodem. But yeah, I missed maybe 1 lap to launch an attack. I guess the tire wear was a little lower this race than it was the last time when I managed to get Erhan with this way, but yeah, crazy race. I really wanted to hear from Nikodem what he was thinking about, but yeah, great race from him.
So Wisniewski just about holding on for the victory. 1 more corner. I think Simoncic might have had him. When we come back, it's the first race for the Legends Trophy. You're not going to want to miss this. Historic racing drivers racing historic Formula 1 cars around Portugal. We'll be back in a few minutes. Welcome back to the Race All-Star Series, powered by Rocket Phones, where it's time for the Legends Trophy. Jenson Button looked quick in Malaysia a week ago, but it's Juan Pablo Montoya that is leading the championship coming into Portugal. Button's on pole position again, though. Can anyone stop him today? Let's find out. Here we go then, Button on pole, Jan Magnussen alongside him on the front row of the grid. Third is Emanuele Pirro. Championship leader Montoya is in 7th in the blue car. Wait for the lights to go green and away they go. Really good start from Button. What a great reaction that was, and he blasts away in the lead. Second is Magnussen. Someone's in the wall already as they come down into the right-hander of turn 1. Magnussen holds on to second place. Pirro on the inside at turn 2 in third. Solberg and Franchitti are swapping places. Franchitti's lost out to Liuzzi. Montoya has lost a place and is down to 8th, and Pirro's on the grass there. Might have got a bit of a nudge maybe from Peter Solberg, and Liuzzi and Pirro, the 2 Italians now going side by side with Italian heritage to Dario Franchitti right behind them in 6th place.
Good start from Jenson Button though. That's the main thing. He's taken pole again, but he's kept out of trouble this time. And he's got over a second on Jan Magnussen already. Franchitti's got a nice view of this fight between Pirro and Liuzzi. Dive up the inside from Pirro. That's looking good. Really neat stuff there from Emanuele Pirro. Up into 4th place again. But he was the real loser early on because he started in the top 3 and he's dropped away. I think maybe a tiny bit of contact with Peter Solberg and that dropped him back. But he's on the charge.
Championship leader Juan Pablo Montoya is down to 16th place. So that's a real disaster for Juan Pablo Montoya. We're watching Franchitti in 6th place, trying to get past Tonio Liuzzi. These legends racing in 1970s Brabham BT44Bs. As they come around the final corner, you can see how much lean they're taking. Franchitti almost losing it on the back straight. A bit of a smirk and a shake of the head because he's now under pressure from Adrian Fernandez, winner of the reverse grid last time. I wonder if Montoya's got damage because in the top right, the car looks all over the place. As they come down into turn 1, Button's lead is 1.6 seconds ahead of Jan Magnussen in 2nd place.
Yeah, Montoya's dropping back and back. This is going to hurt a lot in his championship challenge. So, yeah, don't know what happened to him, but I was very... spin there. Jourdain's going round on his own, I think, down at turn 2. These Brabhams do love to oversteer, and Jourdain just catching that one a little bit late and lost that. And there's another moment. That's Franchitti going wide, and Fernandez now, no, he can't go around the outside of him. So Franchitti having a huge loopy half spin, but Fernandez not able to take advantage. I was distracted at the start by someone just drove into the pit wall all on their own. I can only imagine they had a bit of lag or something or didn't see what was happening. But yeah, someone just on the inside on the start just went straight in the pit wall.
Oh, Solberg. Solberg's gone round, and I think he's tangled. Who is he tangled with there? He's dropped well down the order. Not quite sure who it was with, but Solberg, who was running up in the top 5, facing backwards. Darren Turner and Andy Prio fighting over 7th position now. Here's a look at the replay. Solberg coming down into the left-hander, sent it in, lost the back end, just got the wheels on the grass, and maybe he didn't tangle with anyone. Maybe it was just cars making their way through, or maybe he drove straight into David Brabham.
Yeah, maybe the latter, and again.
And then again.
Oh no. Solberg out of 3rd place. That's a real shame for him. But Tom Coronel's doing a good job, 15th ahead of a recovering David Brabham.
That's one less follower now for Tom Coronel because David Brabham's got in front of him as they get onto the brakes into the first corner. Coronel tries to hang it around the outside, but Brabham is through on his recovery drive after a few nudges with Peter Solberg earlier on. You can see Solberg in the top right, trying to get past Thiago Montero and recover into the top 10, the World Rally Champion. And we're on lap 4 of 10 in this Legends Trophy race around Portugal with the Race All-Star Series. Whoa, someone's in the wall there, big time. And who was it? I think it's Turner and Prio. I think they've been fighting for a long time, and now they've both come to grief on the inside of the Armco at turn 6, and they're both now out of the top 10.
Yeah, real shame because they were both having good drives there in 6th and 7th. Prio was attacking Turner, and they rejoined just ahead of Juan Pablo Montoya, their championship leader. They're now 11th, 12th, and Montoya in 13th. So he really needs to pick up as many points as he can here, with Jenson Button leading from really the other big guns of Magnussen and Pirro. Montoya, for whatever reason, dropped right back at the start, and now he needs to recover from the 2 Brits who had a tangle, it seems, on the last lap down at turn 6.
Montoya up the inside then, down the start-finish straight, going to get ahead of Darren Turner here. And then next up will be Andy Prio, although Well, Turner's helped here by the fact he gets the slipstream. Oh, little nudge, and that'll be enough to allow Montoya through down into 2. Surely this time, yeah, Montoya up into 12th position, Turner down to 13th, and we're on lap 5 of 10.
That's a beautiful
Here's a look at the
touring
replay
car
then. This
move,
might
that
be what
is.
happened.
Oh no, they just touch wheels on the entry, and all it looked like they should have been okay, but they must have just overlapped wheels and lost it on the entry, basically in a straight line. So real shame there between Turner and Prio, and that's what dropped them out of their top 10 battle.
There we can see Petter Solberg in the bottom left. Castroneves not getting a great run out of the final corner, and this will be a good view back as Fernandez and Franchitti are swapping places in 5th position. But here comes Castroneves, covers the inside, then back to the outside, so that allows Montero up the inside into turn 1, and Solberg tries to follow through. He's going to get both of them here, Petter Solberg. 2 places for the price of 1.
Great move. I mean, they were so busy watching each other, Montero and Castroneves, going both of them really deep on the brakes. Solberg kept it neat, unlike Oriol Servia, who's just gone straight in the side of Helio Castroneves. And somehow they kind of got away with that without losing a lot of time. But that was a big old hit on the right rear.
That's 7 of 10. Button, here he is, bossing this race. 4 seconds clear of Jan Magnussen in 2nd position. A really strong race this from the 2009 world champion. Bit of opposite lock though. He's loving this.
Is he just sort of drifting around on purpose?
Yeah.
Not even cracking a smile there on the inset, but just practicing a bit of car control. Someone needs to practice a bit of car control there because they've just
Montoya.
gone off stage right. Don't know who that was, but they didn't.
Juan Pablo
turn into turn
Montoya
6.
going into the back of Andy Prio. So Montoya drops out of the top 10 again.
Not going his way at all this race, and he's going to lose so much ground in the championship after winning last time out. Solberg has passed Franchitti as well. So Petter Solberg, who had that spin early on, is on a recovery drive. Here we go. Battle for second.
Trying to get to the outside of Jan Magnussen, but he can't get it done. So they're still on lap 8 of 10, wheel to wheel for 2nd place. Jan Magnussen in the red and white car. In the yellow and blue is Emanuele Pirro in 3rd position. There you can see Jan in the bottom left, racing in his kitchen. And he's got big pressure now from Pirro, just like he had with Jenson Button at Lime Rock Park a few weeks ago, as Max Papis is now up into 16th place. But this is the battle for 2nd. Down the long start-finish straight in Portugal. Penultimate lap of the race, started by Jenson Button, but the battle for 2nd is on. Oh, Pirro gets the inside. Magnussen comes over, maybe a little bit too late. Pirro desperate to find the inside, sells the dummy, sails it in, and Magnussen loses the back end. Trying to get the cut back, too eager on the power, and Pirro's into 2nd.
Yeah, that was just a mistake really from Magnussen. Pirro, nice lunge on the inside, stopped it well enough. But if Magnussen had managed to get the power down without a big oversteer, he might have been able to slide back underneath Pirro, who went in hot, but he just lost the car and lost the place as well. Pirro up into 2nd, and he's probably deserved that really, because he lost a few places at the start. He's had really good pace, and now he's back into 2nd, but he's still not been a match for Jenson Button. Nice move.
On board with Magnussen. There goes Pirro in there, just as he's trying to get the cut back. Too much, and the back end gets away from him, and he looks like he's going to have to settle for 3rd place now.
Franchitti's lost a lot of pace suddenly. He was ticking along really well earlier on. He's lost sort of 14 seconds. Even to Adrian Fernandez, who he was fighting with just a few laps ago. So maybe losing the tyres, getting scrappy, a gremlin in the car, but he's now going to have his mirrors full soon of Helio Castroneves as well.
Final lap of the race for Jenson Button. We go on board with him now. What a commanding drive this has been. He was very quick in Malaysia, couldn't get it together, and didn't manage to take a win in either of the races, but much more straightforward here. Button out across the line, and he takes the win in Portugal in the Legends Trophy. Really strong drive, over 5 seconds ahead of Emanuele Pirro in 2nd place. So Button takes the win after 10 laps, Pirro second, Magnussen third after a great fight, Antonio Liuzzi in fourth, Fernandez fifth, Solberg sixth after a bit of a collision, Dario Franchitti seventh, eighth for Thiago Montero, ninth for Elio Castroneves, and 10th for Oriol Servia. So now let's speak to our race winner, Jenson Button, in the Legends Trophy. Jenson, congratulations. That was a bit more straightforward than Malaysia last week.
Yeah, it was. But it's funny, you know, I was just hammering it every lap because I thought, you know, if I take it easy, there's just as much chance that I'm going to spin off as if I push hard. So I was like, I'll get the gap, and then if I spin off, I'm pretty safe anyway. So it's definitely a different way of thinking. But no, it was a lot of fun. It
looked like you were sliding the car a lot.
Yeah, this track is really tricky. This was the one that worried me the most. I was testing and I wasn't really on the pace. And it's definitely more of a sort of rally style in terms of where you put the car, or rallycross style, where you double apex a lot of the corners, and you really have to drift the car and use the throttle to turn the car. So not really my style, but I got there in the end.
Okay, well, congratulations. Good luck for the reverse grid.
Cheers, man.
What a drive from Jenson Button, very much back in championship contention. We've had our first 3 races, now the next 3 are going to be reverse grids, starting with the professional racing drivers when we come back in a couple of minutes' time. Welcome back to the Race All-Star Series powered by Rocket Phones, where it's time for our reverse grid races. Andreas Laskaratos, the Greek, is starting on pole position in the Pro Cup. How far can the championship frontrunners climb back through the order? Let's find out. Here we go then, the race about to get underway, the reverse grid race in the Pro Cup. When the green flag drops, away we go, down towards the first corner. It's a very mixed start up at the front. The poleman, Laskaratos, has got away well. James Headley in second place, Christodoulou, Van Uytert all piling into the first corner. A couple of cars running wide. Christodoulou now is up into second place, Van Uytert is third, Bradley is up into fourth, Seb Montoya is up into sixth. For a moment, I think Tatiana Calderon was up there, but she's now dropped away. So Laskaratos it is who's out in front, Christodoulou second, Van Uytert third, Bradley fourth, Seb Montoya now up into fourth place, but a very, very busy first couple of corners.
Yep, Laskaratos doing everything right. I think Calderon might have been the car just running wide on the exit of turn 1 and dropping back from there. And look, Job Van Uytert then right on the back of Christodoulou, and he, to me, is one that's kind of in a good position here. He's normally in the front third, and now he's starting this reverse grid race already in third and right on the back of Christodoulou. So Laskaratos is away in the distance, 1.3 seconds, but Van Uytert needs to get past Christodoulou ASAP to try and hunt him down. This is what happened to Tatiana Calderon then, off the line, starting in 5th place. Got quite a good start. Remember, it's just a first weekend in the Race All-Star Series, and then, yeah, it all gets muscled pretty aggressively wide. I think it was Seb Morris, the Bentley driver, just forcing her wide, and then just got shuffled out even more, and then I think that's is that the same driver then just cartwheeling through, and all sorts going on at turn 3.
We're on board with Andreas Laskaratos in the top right as he comes out of the final corner and across the line. Its gap is up to 1.6 seconds. Job Van Uytert just 2/10 back though from Christodoulou. This is the move for second place. Down in towards the first corner. Job Van Uytert's got the inside line. We're on board with him now, and that is second position. Can he now try and close in on Laskaratos? Van Uytert is a driver who has shown some pace earlier on this season, but a 14th and a 20th last time out in Malaysia weren't quite what I was expecting from him. Here's Devlin DeFrancesco in 5th position, just in front of Richard Bradley, who we're on board with now in 6th place. Job van Uyter challenging for the lead, just 0.2 of a second between them on the 3rd lap of 10. Already on lap 3, this has gone quite quickly, hasn't it? You're watching Nicky Thiem up in the top right. Richard Bradley on screen here. But here is the battle for the race lead. Lascar Atos, Job van Uytert's got a great run through the final corner. Surely this will give the young Dutchman the lead. Down the start-finish straight towards turn 1. How aggressive will Lascar Atos be in defence? Holds the middle of the road and then kind of opens the door a little bit for Job van Uytert. Onto the brakes, into turn 1. And that is the lead of the race.
Yeah, not the strongest of defences there from Lascar Atos, but the way that van Uytert charge to the back of him, I think that was probably going to happen in a matter of time anyway. Christodoulou has dropped down to 5th place, so Montoya and DeFrancesco up into 3rd and 4th, and they're next on the list to try and pass Lascar Atos.
Nicky Thiem going around the outside, well, almost losing the back end, but manages to get up into 10th place. Nice move there from the Dane. But up in front, it is Lascar Atos is behind Seb Montoya as well. So after bursting out of the blocks, he's now falling back a little bit. Seb Prio overtakes Bradley to get up into 6th position behind the man we're on board with here, Adam Christodoulou, coming into the right-hander of turn 7. Then another right-hander at turn 8. Prio looking lively behind as they come up to the crest of the hill. The car looking lively as well, actually, Seb Prio.
Really twitching. Oh, someone's off ahead. Is that Lascar Atos now? Yep. I think he's dropped it completely. He's going to tumble down the order more. So that's Christodoulou back to 4th. But he's going to have to work to defend here. Seb Prio in 5th. Christodoulou grimacing in set. I think he knows what's going to happen here. Prio to the inside. And this should be a relatively straightforward move. And they're not too far away from Devlin DeFrancesco still.
Job van Uytert leading the way. He's got a 3-second lead over Seb Montoya in 2nd place, who's 2 seconds clear of Devlin DeFrancesco in 3rd. Seb Prio 4th, Adam Christodoulou 5th, Bradley, Jack Aitken, Lascar Atos, Thiem and Plowman, the rest of the top 10. Gutierrez has dropped down to 22nd. He was up into the mid-teens earlier, wasn't he? But now he has slipped away. So that's not good news for his championship challenge. And there's a mistake for Devlin DeFrancesco, down to 7th place all of a sudden.
So that promotes Prio then up into 3rd place, and he's had a good drive so far, made a good number of places, and now has a bit of a gap to try and make to Seb Montoya, and then Job van Uytert, who's looking very good out front with a 3-second gap and a lot of pace as well.
We're on board with Kevin Hansen in 12th place, right behind Martin Plowman as they come out onto the back straight, the start-finish straight now. Can Hansen make a move? Very, very close. They're all queued up for what is basically behind Lascar Atos in 9th place. There's the send up the inside from Anthony Davidson. So Davidson goes at the inside into 9th, and Lascar Atos is just going further and further back. Plowman is through. Kevin Hansen gets past as well. And yeah, Alex Buncombe is going to be the next man to attack, and Buncombe goes through too. So Lascar Atos, and now Tom Dillman trying to go through as well, as Dillman tries to climb up the order from the back of the grid. So Lascar Atos, having had a 2-second lead up at the front, is going backwards. On board with Jack Aitken in the replay of him going to the outside down into turn 6. Nice move. Very clean stuff from Aitken.
Nice move. And van Uytert now 4 seconds clear. It's looking very, very good.
Yeah, a 15-year-old Seb Montoya in 2nd place, who's having a very strong race. Seb Prio's in 3rd, Jack Aitken 4th, DeFrancesco 5th. Here's a look at Devlin DeFrancesco, sending one up the inside, late on the brakes into turn 1. Nicely done. Richard Bradley in 8th place is now under pressure from Anthony Davidson. The Mercedes driver right up behind Bradley. Side by side in front, I think, as Christodoulou and Thiem battle. But what can Ant Davidson do?
Buncombe and Dillman are in this battle as well. They're just in behind. They're all bunching up behind Christodoulou now for 7th place. Look at this train, which includes now Buncombe in 11th and Dillman in 12th, and not someone who was in about 9th place. I don't know who's just dropped it, but someone has gone.
Okay, so Buncombe up into 10th position. We're on board with Adam Christodoulou looking back at Ant Davidson, trying to get past. And Thought Davidson was sending it there, but just makes the apex. They're all a bit concertinaed up here, aren't they, behind Christodoulou as they come through the tight sequence of corners towards the end of the lap. And this is going to be a bit busy down into turn 1 this time around, I think, because Buncombe is lining up a move on Bradley. He's got a really good run through the final corner. He himself is only just in front of Dillman, Hansen, Eastwood, Ingram and Canapino, the rest of the top 15. This is now the penultimate lap of the race already. Christodoulou covers the inside line, and Davidson, oh no, the pit wall's there, goodness me. He manages to find the inside, but that was a heart-in-the-mouth moment for Anthony Davidson, and he's up into 7th place. Great drive.
Bradley had a big moment, and Buncombe's gone, I think.
Yeah, I was just about to... Oh, and Bradley's gone. He's hit Kevin Hansen. Hansen up into 10th place. How much ground did Buncombe lose? Is that Buncombe there rejoining the fight? It is. So Buncombe's down to 13th place. Bradley's in 12th. Still Job van Uyter comfortably out in the lead. Montoya is only 4/10 ahead of Prio in the battle over 2nd place, and they've been joined actually by Jack Aitken, and I think that's Buncombe. I think Buncombe's just had a big accident and hit the wall coming into the final sequence of corners, and that might drop him well out of the running. Out across the line to start the final lap of the race, and there's only a 10th between Montoya and Prio. Aitken's ahead of Prio now, so Jack Aitken's up into 3rd. We're watching Canapino make the move on Richard Bradley down into turn 1, almost in the wall himself. Now we're back to Seb Montoya in 2nd place. Bradley and Canapino still fighting. Jack Aitken's got ahead of Nicky Thiem. So what happened to Seb Prio? He's now lost out to Nicky Thiem, and we're on board with Prio running in 5th in this 4-car fight for 2nd place. What can Jack Aitken do on Seb Montoya on the final lap?
Montoya weaving around a bit in the on the straight, not trying to avoid the slipstream for Aitken. Aitken tries to go round, and that's not going to work there. And Aitken's come unstuck. Montoya stays in 2nd, and now Nicky Thiem's up to 3rd under big pressure from Seb Prio.
On board with Seb Prio then, the final couple of corners. Seb Montoya is going defensive at every possible opportunity. The 15-year-old, there's going to be a nudge there. Round goes Prio on the lock stops, gets it straightened out again, but Montoya still holds on to 2nd place. Here's Job van Uyter out of the final corner to take the win in the reverse grid race for the Pro Cup. Very strong drive from him, and it's going to be Seb Montoya just who holds on ahead of Nicky Thiem in 3rd position. Devlin DeFrancesco 4th. Anthony Davidson with a great drive to come across the line in 5th position. Wow, what a race that was. Absolutely action-packed. And it is Job van Uyter who takes the win. In some ways, the more notable results will be further down the order, because how far up did the drivers who started at the back climb? Alex Buncombe had got up into the top 10 pretty much before he seemed to have an accident all by himself and lost a lot of ground. And we can now quickly speak to Job van Uyter, the winner of the reverse grid race. Job, great effort there, and in the end you managed to pull away for the win.
Yeah, it was not bad. It was quite fun. It's cool to have some benefits when qualifying very poorly in a race.
Yeah, well, we've been saying you've been sort of a front runner before this, but now it hasn't gone quite so well the last couple of weeks until today.
I didn't put in that much time and effort in the 3.5 in making the quali lap all right, and then in the races it's up and down. Like Malaysia was pretty harsh, like the first couple of laps, but now this track was a bit better. Yeah, the car's getting better and feeling good.
Well, a great race for Job van Uyter. He takes the victory, but this is how the championship looks. Esteban Gutierrez is at the top, 6 points clear of Nicky Thiem. Charlie Eastwood has had a quiet couple of races, but he's managed to make his way up into 3rd in the standings. Alex Buncombe was on top of the championship coming into this weekend, and now he's slipped down to 4th position. As far as the team's championship is concerned, Mercedes are leading the way, but it's only a very small margin over Aston Martin in 2nd place. BMW will be hoping they can pick up the pace a little bit throughout the remainder of the season. When we come back though, it's time for the reverse grid race for the Sim Masters. We'll see you in a couple of minutes. Welcome back to the Race All-Stars series powered by Rocket Phones, where it's time for the reverse grid race for the Sim Masters. Jone Simoncic is leading the championship, but he's starting all the way down at the back. Let's see what happens. Here we go then, the race about to get underway. It's the reverse grid Sim Masters. Kuba Brzezinski's on pole position as we wait for the race to get underway. Jajowski second, Siggy third as we go down towards the first corner, and it's a great start from Erhan Jajowski into the lead of the race before they even get to the first corner. Kevin Siggy's trying to come with him up the inside, and it is Jajowski in front, Brzezinski second, Siggy third, Epps fourth, Ciara fifth, Terzic sixth, Greco, Palenci, Haddad and Bock, the rest of the top 10. On board in the top right with Jone Simoncic as he tries to carve his way up the order in the early stages. But Jajowski and Siggy, both after poor qualifyings, have got a chance here, Jolien, to get back on the boards.
I slightly wonder if they had maybe intentionally poor qualifying, looking at the three of them who were so competitive last time and have now wound up at the front of the grid. There's one for you. I just suddenly, when Jajowski, Brzezinski, Siggy at the front of the grid, that doesn't seem quite right. But anyway, Jajowski's just jumped into the lead of the race. Brilliant start. And he just, the reaction was great. He was just gone alongside Brzezinski pretty much before Brzezinski had even moved.
Coming through the final corner and over the start-finish straight again to start lap 3 of 10. Just half a second between, into the back. Far too late on the brakes there, and that's a big, big collision. Not quite sure, was that Epps? Yeah, Epps trying to force his way past. And he and Siggy, I think, have come together, and Terzic has got ahead of Siggy now as well.
Well, Epps made the move stick. He misjudged the braking distance for turn 1 and misjudged basically where Siggy was going to stop and ended up hitting him and forcing him wide into turn 1. That allowed Terzic through, but Epps has continued. Has he got damage, though? Because 50% damage on these cars, and that was quite a big hit there for Mike Epps. Bono Huis is already up to 17th. So that's a good start for him, and he's not out of this championship picture yet at all.
Certainly not. He's second in the standings at the moment. Oh, there's contact. Dennis Lind hitting Gergo Baldi, and he's then going to get passed, I think, by Brendan Lee up the inside in the Mercedes, or certainly he might be getting double Mercedes'd here. Huis gets in front, then Lind, then Brendan Lee. And we're on lap 4 of 10. Lind trying to fight back, but he's got the outside line, and that allows Brendan Lee to send it to the inside, but he can't quite make that move stick. Jajowski, Brzezinski and Epps, the top 3 up at the front, but this is all the squabble over ultimately 16th place. Down towards turn 1. Brendan Lee watching the fight up in front. And he loses out, and then Pinto tries to take advantage, but Lee comes across to cover the inside, and that means Liam Duval comes through to move up into 19th place. So Pinto loses a place in all of that. Huge lockups here and there. Someone's up the inside of Nuno Pinto. Didn't quite see who that was, but he's still holding on. Oh yeah, Wisniewski, good spot. Lap 5 of 10. Great fighting here. Pinto still trying to get past Brendan Lee. On the run down now into turn 6. Lee covers the inside, holds onto the place. Nuno Pinto and Nikodem Wisniewski going wheel to wheel. Still Jajowski out in front, 7/10 ahead of Brzezinski. On board here with Yunus Raivio, with Gergo Baldi, as he tries to get to the outside of Raivio, coming, and Raivio goes into the back of the car in front. It's all very, very busy on lap 6 of 10. Further back, Yannick Bock was getting involved in that as well for the GPVWC All-Stars team. And still, Jajowski and Brzezinski just 7/10 of a second apart. So we'll wait and see what tyre wear does with the front runners, because that's been a big factor in the last couple of races in the Sim Masters. And we're on board with Borja Milan in the top right as he comes into the left-hander, chasing David Greco, who in turn is chasing Danny Haddad as they come out onto the back straight. Down towards turn 6, does Greco fancy a move? Instead, he just kind of bump drafts Danny Haddad a little bit to the outside, a little bit more contact, and that might give Milan the opportunity. Not quite, but look how close Kuba Brzezinski is, though, in the top right now, as he and Jajowski are going to do battle down into turn 1. Can he stay close enough through the final sequence of corners?
He's just got to stay close now, and he's going to get a great run, 6/10. If he can stay there with DRS and a nice slipstream, he'll put Jajowski under some pressure when they get to the braking zone at turn 1. Wisniewski's 18th, behind Bono Huis now, and Simoncic is still not inside the top 20. I think he's 21st or 22nd. Yeah, 22nd. So further back, Wisniewski's doing a good job. Here we go at the front.
Here comes Daniele Haddad. Oh, David De Greco sent the dummy, gets the inside line, locks up, and gets it stopped. Nicely done. Haddad tries to fight back into 2, but he's not able to do so. Still just 3 tenths now between the race leaders. Epps has managed to gap Alan Terzic a little bit. Penultimate lap of the race. We're on board with Kuba Brzezinski in 2nd place. He's got one more run down into the first corner with the DRS and onto the brakes. Oh, Epps is, Terzic attacking Epps. There might have been a bit of contact there, and Kevin Siggy's going to take advantage, is he? He's out on the grass on the outside. No changes of position, but I think there might have been a touch there between Terzic and Epps. But Brzezinski's now just 2 tenths back from Erhan Yayovski in the battle for the lead of the race.
And that gap's just going to close and close. Is Yayovski far enough ahead, though?
Into the braking zone. It looks as though he is. Onto the brakes into turn 1, and Kuba Brzezinski not quite close enough. On board with the Williams driver in 2nd place for the final lap. And yeah, Yayovski looking very strong. It's been a good drive from Yayovski. This is the Yayovski of old that we used to know in the last month
and last week mainly, where he made a mistake, but he was leading most of the race until Simoncic passed him. He's been quick for a very long time until the qualifying session. But Brzezinski now he's not out of the woods yet. Yayovski still half a second, and any mistake, any missed apex or slide, Brzezinski can have a last run. 4 tenths in it.
How messy is this going to be down into turn 6? Look at all these cars together, all behind Yunus Raivio. We're on board with Jene Simoncic, who's in the middle of it on the final lap. Everybody is safely through, just about. He's up behind the 20th place car. Someone's off. Whoa, that was a big one into the Armco barriers, and Simoncic is going to try and take 2 places out of that. I think that might have been Bianca Lila who heavily hit the wall. Erhan Yayovski, though, comes out across the line to take the win in the reverse grid race in the Sim Masters. Kuba Brzezinski in 2nd place, just about, and Mike Epps is going to score a podium finish, having been promoted from the pro driver category up to the sim driver category. Great drive from Mike Epps. Absolute mayhem on that last lap. Erhan Yayovski takes the win. Kuba Brzezinski in 2nd place. Mike Epps in 3rd position. Siggy 4th. Terzic 5th. Ciara Palenci, Pavlovsky, Greco, and Daniele Haddad completing the top 10. Let's speak now to Mike Epps. Great job, Mike. That was a busy race for you.
Yeah, cheers, man. It's definitely been something to adapt to when you're thrown into the sim pit, as it were, the deep end, about 3 hours before last weekend. So a lot to take in. But I seem to have good race pace. Over the 1 lap, these guys are ahead of me. They've just got the knack. But during a race, I can hold my own, and I can use my own life experience, as you will, to try and defend and attack. And yeah, got lucky there and managed to hold 3rd.
Cool. Congratulations. Best of luck for next week. A really impressive performance from Mike Epps to make it onto that podium with 3rd place, but a good drive from Erhan Yayovski, giving him points in the championship. Here's a look at the championship standings then after that race, and Jene Simoncic is at the top, but only 9 points clear of Bono Huis in 2nd. Kevin Siggy's result moves him up to 3rd. And as far as the teams are concerned, Burst Esports, after a very strong weekend, are at the top of the standings. Mercedes-AMG Petronas Esports up into 2nd. R8G Esports, in their first week in the championship, are up into 3rd place. When we return, it'll be the final race, which is the reverse grid race in the Legends Trophy. Jenson Button starting at the back. Elio Castroneves and Max Papis are on the front row of the grid. This is going to be great. Welcome back to the Race All-Star Series powered by Rocket Phones, where it's time for the reverse grid for the Legends Trophy. Jenson Button is leading this championship, but he's starting at the back of the grid for this one. It's going to be a tough race for him. Max Papis is on pole position. Helio Castroneves alongside him on the front row of the grid. Let's join the action. The reverse grid race in the Legends Trophy about to get underway. Papis on pole, watch for Buttons on board in the top right. Oh no! Helio, you have to wait for the lights to go out. He's gone anyway. It's his birthday tomorrow, he can do what he wants. Papis gets away fine from pole, but a very messy start from Helio Castroneves, who's gone. He's on his way into the turn one, and everybody else now into the first corner on board with Mika Salo. Tom Coronel right behind him. Button seeing the carnage unfold in front of him. Franchitti and Montoya getting into each other, and Button's been hit by Montoya, and now he's been hit, and now he's upside down. And Button, the championship leader, is entwined with Emanuele Pirro at the back of the pack. The first two in the championship. Oh, and Button's been hit again, this time by David Brabham, I think, and it's absolute carnage at the start. It wasn't Brabham, it was someone else, but chaos.
Magnussen 11th, now 10th, just passing Pirro dropping down, or Liuzzi dropping down, but Button caught up. He had actually made a nice few places on the run just down to turn one, but then minding his own business, someone else getting out of shape, I think it was Montoya, and just clipped Jenson into a spin and then a roll and then another spin, and he's got a big recovery drive to do now, and Jan Magnussen in 10th can score some good points here.
As far as the championship is concerned then, coming into this race, it is Jenson Button at the top, 4 points ahead of Pirro. Oh, bye-bye Oriol Servia in the Armco. And then it's Montoya in third. And you're right, Jan Magnussen is 20 points off Button, and he's already up into 10th position. So this is a big opportunity for Jan Magnussen. But here's Tom Coronel fighting with Mika Salo. And now Petter Solberg's going to try and take 2 in 1 onto the brakes into the first corner. Max Papis is still in the lead, but for how long? Salo goes flying in. Far too much speed, and he's off the circuit, and Petter Solberg now leads with Coronel in second, Papis third, Toner fourth, Prio fifth, Salo down to sixth.
Solberg from fourth to first in one corner then. Up the inside, Salo went off all on his own, and Solberg committed on the brakes past 2 cars. Helio Castroneves has now been disqualified for that massive jump start. I have to say, everyone else did well to not go with him. When you're driving and you see someone else do a jump stop, particularly at the front, it's so easy to just panic and drop the clutch yourself. But they didn't, and Helio has had an early retirement then from this race. But Solberg leading.
So here's a look at the replay of Castroneves' start then. He goes and then thinks, oh no, better stop. Well, actually, I've gone now, so here we go. And then presumably didn't serve his drive-through penalty, or was instantly disqualified for that outrageous jump start. I've never quite seen a jump start like it, I don't think. Here, Prio, Turner again, side by side for third place. Button has recovered up into 13th position. Turner holds the inside in the Aston Martin liveried car, and Prio a little bit loose, they're off. Big into the front for Prio. For Turner, Prio recovers. Salo's now up into third place. Papis comes with him, and Prio immediately gets back past Papis. But Solberg out in front, Coronel second, Salo third, Prio fourth, Papis fifth. Magnussen now up into sixth place as everybody just keeps falling off the road in front of him.
And just barged a little bit wide by Max Papis there, trying to pass him, and he might get done actually by David Brabham now. All bunching up behind Papis in the background of this one, after Prio and Turner having another incident. 2-2 races today between the two of them. But Zach Magnussen now going through on the inside, Brabham following him as well past Papis, and then Oriol Servia as well.
Oh, and Turner's off again. Turner was having a big slide there. Button's up into 10th place. Servia's having a slide. His second visit to the Armco of the day. Emanuele Pirro has managed to climb back up the order. He's in front of Button. Pirro's up into 7th place. Button's up into 9th. Magnussen's up into 4th now. And he is some 3 seconds back from Mika Salo in 3rd. Button all over the grass. He's trying to get past Oriol Servia. Looks to the outside, coming through the final corner at turn 13. And then down the start, finish straight. And we're on lap 4 of 10 now in this reverse grid Legends Trophy race down towards turn 1.
Button looking at the back of Servio, and that's Pirro just ahead as well. Pirro's having a great race on the back of Brabham and then Fernandez. So these are the championship leaders already coming through into the top 10, and there's plenty of the race still to go. And this is with Jenson Button having that wipeout on the first lap. He might get a place here as well. Pirro's actually just dropped behind Servio, and then Servio's hit round, and that's a shame there for Oriol Servio, out of 8th place. Don't know who hit him. It was either Jenson Button or Emanuele Pirro.
One of the two. The race stewards will have a look at that. Pirro now just less than a second behind David Brabham in 6th position. Jan Magnussen is closing in on Mika Salo. There's about a second and a half between he and Salo now, as Juan Pablo Montoya has got back up to 11th place, just in front of Dario Franchitti, whose force feedback failed in the first race. So that's what happened to Dario in race 1. So now that's why he started to drop back down the order. He goes past Papis, chasing Montoya as he almost gets up into the top 10. Magnussen is now with Salo for 3rd place. 0.2 of a second between them. Surely it's just a matter of time before Jan Magnussen is up into 3rd. You can see them in the top right there. We're on board with Jan. Montoya getting sideways meanwhile, but where will Magnussen try and find the move on Mika Salo in 3rd position, the former Tyrrell and of course Ferrari driver. Franchitti trying to get past Montoya, and there's the little nudge and through.
Classic touring car move again there from Franchitti this time.
Magnussen is going through into 3rd. Onto the brakes into turn 1, and Magnussen is up into the top 3. 3 wide here, Pirro on the inside. Fernandez on the outside, Button trying to follow Pirro through, and they're both going to be up into 5th and 6th now, I think. Oh, Fernandez chops across the front fairly robustly there on Button, and Pirro has 5th, Fernandez 6th, Button 7th, and this would put Pirro back into the lead of the championship. As we come up into the left-hander on board with Tonio Liuzzi, then Adrian Fernandez in front, and Button is through then, so Button is ahead now of Adrian Fernandez and into 6th place, but he's about 3 seconds back from Pirro, so I think Pirro's going to finish this race in front of Button, unless Jenson can find a lot of pace in the last couple of laps. And I think that would give Pirro the lead in the championship back again. It would certainly be very tight between them.
Pirro
the gap
can
is
pass
4
Salo
points.
still. He's only 1 second behind Mika Salo, Emanuele Pirro, and that'll definitely put him ahead of Jenson Button in the championship again. This was the move then, Button on the inside of Fernandez. Remember, Fernandez won last time out. He's no slouch at all. He's getting better all the time. And it's not all that surprising that he managed to just hold up Jenson for a few laps there.
And here they are, the battle for 4th place. Mika Salo in the bottom left, holding on from Pirro as we start the penultimate lap. Both sliding around the final corner, out over the start, finish straight again. And Magnussen has now caught Coronel as well. So in the top right, Jan Magnussen passing Tom Coronel for 2nd place. They bang wheels. What's Coronel doing? He's put them both in the wall, and Magnussen's in the gravel trap. Big disaster for Jan Magnussen, and Pirro goes through into what is now 2nd place.
What on earth was Coronel doing? Just driving right and right and right until Magnussen's in the wall.
We're on the final lap of the race. Solberg in the lead, 14 seconds ahead of Pirro, who's just in front of Salo, who is just in front of Button. So Button has caught Mika Salo as well in all of that squabble. So can Button pass Salo on the final lap? Here's Petter Solberg through the final corner now, and it's a win in the reverse grid race for Petter Solberg, his first win of the season. Oliver Solberg celebrating with him. Pictures getting taken as well of a historic moment, and Button as he hits Salo. He's going to get good drive out of the final corner. This is going to be a drag race towards the line. I think Salo is just about going to hold on. Is he? Yes. Cutting the timing beam now. Salo in 3rd. Button in 4th. What a great fight that was. Here's a look at the replay, Jolien.
Right, so you got Magnussen on the inside, and then there's Actually, I think they interlock wheels on the main straight. Magnussen actually just slightly tapped the wheel of Coronel, which pitched him into a slide and then pitched Magnussen into the wall.
Petter Solberg takes the win. Emanuele Pirro in 2nd place. Salo in 3rd with his first podium. Button in 4th. Magnussen still recovered to 5th. Brabham, Franchitti, Fernandez, Servia and Jourdain completing the top 10. So let's check in with Petter Solberg, race winner in the Legends Trophy reverse grid race. Petter, what a great drive. 15 seconds clear in the end.
That was great. It was really great. I had a very, very good start. And then I have to back off because I get too close to the car in front. And then I was behind. I know I had a very, very good speed. And then I just have to try to be clean as possible. Like the first heat, I braked a little bit too late. But this time well, it's second victory now, so it's a great feeling, great feeling.
A delighted Petter Solberg after that victory. I haven't seen a driver so passionate about winning in the Legends Trophy. A really, really strong result. And it's done him wonders as far as the championship is concerned. Up to third position now for the Norwegian, but Emanuele Pirro is out in front. 4 points clear of Jensen Button, and then 10 points back to Solberg. Jan Magnussen struggling today in fourth place, and a lot of points lost for Juan Pablo Montoya, who was at the top of the championship coming into this weekend. Well, what a great day of racing. The Legends Trophy entertaining as always, some classy drives from the professionals, and the sim racers having some absolutely clean, fair wheel-to-wheel action. Make sure you join us next time on the Race All-Star Series powered by Rocket Phones for more of the same.